Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. This is episode number 68 of Zero Point Healing Show. And in this particular video, we are going to talk about transcending family patterns using theta healing specifically, and how theta healing can help us transcend different family patterns that comes up in most of our families, where we get triggered by our parents, spouse, children, relatives. So that's the topic of today, and I'm sure this is in almost all of the homes. There might be one or two people who are living with us who kind of triggers us, who kind of know our emotional buttons and where to press them. So it takes a lot of healing on our part to kind of transcend our triggers, our emotional triggers, and that's our topic for today. So before I move on to my amazing guest for today, just a short intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya, and I am certified in multiple different healing modalities. And when I went through this journey of healing myself through various different modalities, I got certified in these modalities as well. I saw that different modalities helped me as different tools that I can use to upgrade myself, to transcend myself, to transform my life, specifically over the financials, over my own emotional barriers or emotional triggers that I was having. And I found that all of these healing modalities helped me be the person that I want to be and become the person that I wanted to become. So that's kind of where I got this inspiration of developing zeropointhealing.com. And today, zeropointhealing.com, it's a web directory of all different healing modalities. There are about 50 different healing modalities that are registered on zeropointhealing.com at this time. And so many different practitioners and instructors and healers and facilitators who do this work of helping humanity transform. And the good news is, when I have this kind of a tool like Zero Point Healing has been serving me at this time, whenever I have certain issues coming up in my life, I in fact wait for the issues to pop up, whether it is emotional or financial, for example, or any kind of relationship issues that might be going through in my life, or anything to do with my health. I kind of, at this time in my life, I literally wait for something to pop up in my health. For example, 2-3 weeks back, I started getting lower back pain, and I was like, wow, amazing, I got something to heal myself. So I go on to Zero Point Healing. I see, okay, this time, which healer do I want to work with? Which healing modality do I want to try? And it has been such a wonderful experience for me to empower myself. Anything that pops up in my life, I have the solution. And I go on Zero Point Healing. I literally have tried at least 20 to 25 different healing modalities out of the 50 healing modalities. And every healing session, every healer, every facilitator whom I have worked with has helped me move on to that next step in my life. There has been not a single healing session which I have felt, oh, that was a waste, that did not help me. Because I now see from the perspective of how each of these healing sessions and healing modalities and healers and facilitators can help us know ourselves better and help us align ourselves to the truth of everything. So that's what zeropointhealing.com is all about. So if you are a healer facilitator yourself, I welcome you to register at zeropointhealing.com for free. And if you're interested in such interview with me, you can contact me for that as well. All right, so I am now moving on to my beautiful guest here. Welcome, Paulette. Thank you so much for being with me today. Tell us about your journey into this whole holistic healing world. I see you are certified in multiple different modalities. So tell us how your journey through these modalities has helped you personally in your life as well.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me to this. It's really a wonderful service that you're offering to so many people and creating this platform for everybody. So thank you, really. Um, so, wow, my journey, I think for a lot of people, it's not a linear path. It's not necessarily so straightforward. And for me, it's definitely been a long windabout journey. Um, and also my life in general. Over the years, I grew up in the U.S. My mother's from the Philippines, but then I also lived in China and Japan for 4 years, and then spent a lot of time in Central America. And for the last 5 years, I've been based in Peru, and
I,
traveled to.
sorry, I can't see your
Yeah,
video. Are you able to see yourself?
yeah, I see myself.
Yeah, now I
Uh-oh.
can see. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Um, but yeah, and I've traveled to 50 some countries. And so part of my exploration of the world and wanting to go to different cultures and learning about it was also this undercurrent of wanting to learn about different spiritual practices and the ways that people connect with spirit. I grew up in a very extremely Filipino Catholic kind of background, um, but I was always curious about different ways of connecting with spirit, and explored Buddhism, and also, I guess Reiki was the first one. I feel like that's the gateway healing modality for a lot of people. And that was about 9, 10 years ago when I first learned Reiki, and it just opened me up to this whole world that I had always wanted to connect with. But it wasn't until I actually went through an initiation and a course that I realized, okay, this is where I feel comfortable. This is where so far I felt the most me in my life. But there were times where I was like drifting away from my spiritual practice, and finding other people who are also interested in exploring these deeper things in life. And so it wasn't until um, 2014 when I first had ayahuasca. And I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, okay. So that to me was one of the biggest um, triggers for me to really open up and to really accept that I need to be on a healing path, and I need to first heal myself, work on myself, and also my desire to want to share that with others really awoken after I had that for the first time. And that actually led me on a path that brought me to Peru. And in the place that I live in Peru, it's called the Sacred Valley of the Incas. And for whatever reason, it just draws people from all over the world, and it draws all kinds of healing modalities. Like if there's any kind of healing modality you want to explore, that's one of those hubs. And I found that, yeah, in the time that I've been there, I've explored a lot with plant medicines. I've gone quite deep with A Course in Miracles, um, what else? Munaiki, which is this Andean energetic healing. I learned Arcturian healing while I was there, and also Theta healing has been a significant part of my journey, my healing journey. And it happened with taking the basic class with my now husband. It was just us two in the class. We knew each other before. It's not that we met in the class, but we did a lot of our journey with Theta Healing together. And so we traveled to Switzerland and Mexico and took the instructor courses with Vienna, and we taught many classes. And yeah, it totally transformed um, my relationship with my husband, but also my relationship with myself, and how I relate to the world and how I teach, and has given me such a solid foundation for how I can work with people, especially one-on-one.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And wow, what a journey to travel, and especially having your partner together should have been like a profound experience by itself. So now let's go into the topic for today, which is transcending family patterns. So
Hmm.
can you tell us a little bit about just the problem itself, what family patterns really are and how it can be affecting us in general?
Yeah. So, family patterns. What am I even talking about? So, something that you learn in theta healing, if you end up taking a course or if you've already learned about it, is that the information, the programming that we have in our system can get passed on. And it can go from generation to generation until someone is ready to take consciousness and to heal it, essentially. Um, and for me, particularly right now, in this quarantined phase, um, in the middle of this pandemic, I found myself sort of stuck unintentionally with the family that I grew up with, the Filipino side of the family, which is very different from how I've been living my life in Peru. Um, and to me, this topic has become so clear, like so in my face. And there's this saying of if you think you're enlightened, spend a week with your family. And I think it's so perfect because the family that we've grown up with, that's where a lot of our subconscious programming is held, and we witness it. We can see it when we interact with some of the family that we grew up with, because a lot of us, we grow up with these families, but then when we turn a certain age or go to a certain phase of our lives, we move, we study, we go far away from our families, and we have like this whole new identity. However, there's still some patterns that we might uncover in relationships that we have, in work interactions, in friend interactions, and so many different experiences, that we actually start to see some of those patterns that we had with our nuclear family that we grew up with start to emerge. And so, yeah, we have the opportunity through theta healing, and through many other modalities as well. But I find that theta healing is really good at being able to identify where the root is of a pattern that might be negative that you want to change, or something that you're just so sick of and so tired of witnessing, or you're so tired of attracting somebody in your life that has that particular pattern or that particular archetype. And so, that's what I'm talking about with transcending family patterns, that we have the ability to not be stuck in that, and we can transcend it.
Exactly. And I remember, of course, when I was doing such one-on-one healing sessions, I have had clients who come in and say, oh, I'm living with my, for example, mother-in-law, and we have this kind of issue going on. And it's just, especially when it comes to in-laws, I think that's where a lot of trigger points reside within us, as well as, and not just in-laws, I think even mother, father, or maybe even I've had, okay, daughter, I have this kind of relationship going on with my daughter. There's something I'm getting triggered a lot of times, and I'm finding it so difficult to live with my mom, for example. I think most of it comes with when we are living with them in the same place, right? So now tell us a little bit about how theta healing works, what theta healing really is, what happens in a session, and tell us how theta healing can help us when we are in this kind of triggered situation in our family.
Okay. Yeah. So the theta healing technique is, in a way, it's very simple, but it's also quite well developed. Um, so in its simplest form, it's basically that we as practitioners are connecting with creator or source or God, or whatever term that you feel the most comfortable using. And by using this lifeline that we have, we can actually witness changes in a person's system. But from my experience, it's that the person needs to be ready, to see it, and also to see what is the positive that comes with that negative belief or pattern or interaction, because always our subconscious mind is trying to help us, and it's a matter of being able to see how it's helping us to then be able to unlock that. And so with theta healing, we do what's called digging work. So you might start with, okay, this is the situation or the problem that or person that's making me feel upset. And through the process of the theta healing technique, where the practitioner would go and ask creator, okay, what is really underneath this? And you do a process of digging, of finding where is the real root of this seeming problem. And once you can identify that root, then you use theta healing to be able to witness the healing. And then once that root problem has been addressed and has been healed, then all of these other levels and the surface problem that you started off with should change. I mean, sometimes it takes multiple sessions to be able to find, because sometimes there are multiple roots for the same issue, to really witness real change. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So tell us what happens within a session. Let's say a client is coming to you and let's say he or she is having maybe some issue with mother or father. So tell us what happens. And if somebody is coming to you, what happens in a session? How long is a typical session?
So sessions can be any amount of time, but every practitioner decides the amount of time that they want to have a session. And I learned for me that I just ask. I ask, how long does this session need to be? And also, I offer different times of sessions, and that really works. When I was a newbie, when I was first learning, and I didn't know to have a set time, sometimes the sessions would go for 2 hours, and it was like the blink of an eye, because when you're so deep in that meditative space, you don't even, it's like time doesn't even exist. But so generally people do 30-minute, 45-minute, 1 hour. Sometimes people do a little longer than that. And within that session, what it usually looks like is, at least in the way that I do it, I think everybody has their own unique style and ways of structuring their sessions. But for me, I start with asking if a person has a particular topic they want to work on, and sometimes not. Sometimes someone just wants to experience a session, and that's okay too. So once that has been established, then I'll start off doing just a body scan, a reading, and just seeing what information is coming up. And that's how I know. It's like I get basically an overview of what are we going to be working with in the session today, and then it's a question and answer kind of process, where interacting with a client, but most importantly is always asking source, always asking creator, what do we do? What do we do next? What question do I ask this person next? And so it's like I'm the intermediary. I'm the one that is allowing the sort of translation from spirit or source to the client directly, so that the me is kind of left aside, so that the real work can be done directly with the creator. And yeah, belief work, starting off with identifying what are the beliefs that need to, that did happen. Oh, well.
Not a problem.
Great.
Yes.
So yeah, so in doing belief work, you identify what are the root beliefs that a person might be holding, and then through the digging process and witnessing healings and doing downloads, it's basically like you're changing the programming the configuration that somebody might have related to that issue. And when the session is done, that those beliefs that have been identified should have changed. Ideally, they'll have changed. In some cases they haven't, and that's usually if there's like a deeper root that hasn't been addressed yet. So, and usually by the end of the session, a person leaves feeling wonderful, joyous, light, like a load has been lifted. Yeah, that's generally what the structure of the session looks like. But in terms of how people respond, it really is so different. You know, sometimes people have sessions where they're just crying the whole time, like it's just tears, and sometimes those tears are tears of joy. You know, everybody sort of responds differently, and it depends what a person's working with and what they need.
Sure. As well as what I love about theta healing is how quickly we can change a lot of beliefs, because theta healing has this amazing ability to dig deeper into the root of all the beliefs, rather than it's like going into the root of a tree rather than, taking away each leaf, right? It's
Yes.
like it gives us this. So for example, in our reality, all we know is, oh, I have this constant fight between me and my mother-in-law, for example. But when
Mm-hmm.
a client comes to the session, that's like the over layer, and then we dig deeper and deeper and see what is the root subconscious belief that needs to be removed. And then theta healing also allows you to this beautiful downloads that you can give 10, 15 different downloads at a time, and it is all quickly rewiring your subconscious mind with this beautiful positive beliefs. I have been a I've been trained in hypnotherapy and multiple other modalities. So comparing all of that, I know how quickly theta healing has that ability to change the root beliefs. And it's like thousands of beliefs that we are changing at a time with theta healing. So it's like super powerful. And that's what I love about theta healing. So now let's quickly move into the healing meditation that you have for us.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little meditation, and I'm going to tune in to Creator and ask what downloads we're going to get to receive to share today. And so for anyone who's listening, if you're not familiar with Theta Healing, you can basically just allow yourself to be comfortable, get into a meditative posture, take some deep breaths, and after I say a download, it's going to be in the form of a phrase or a sentence. Then all you have to do is say yes. And that yes is saying that, yes, you would like to receive that. And so I'm going to go ahead and tune in now and ask what downloads we get to share regarding transcending family patterns. Okay, so first set is, I know how and when and that it is possible for me to see my family members through the eyes of Creator. I know how to see my family members without judgment. I know how to, when to, and that it's possible for me to heal myself without needing to wait for anyone else to change. I know how to, when to, and that it's possible for me to hear the lessons to get the lessons that I'm meant to get through my family members. It's possible for me to transcend old family patterns. It's possible for me to be clear from old family patterns that do not serve me anymore. And we can replace that with a feeling of forgiveness, unconditional love from Creator. I know how to live my life creating the family that I want. I know how to move forward with my life without needing to have old family patterns hold me back. And anyone who's listening to this or watching this right now, we're going to just take all of the old family patterns that are ready to go, because some people's ancestors, they're also just so done with some things like you are. They're over it. And so we're going to just take all of that and send that to Creator to be released, to be cleansed, to be perceived correctly. And that's going to be replaced with unconditional love, forgiveness. And another download is, I know how to, when to, and that it's possible for me to be guided to find my healers, my teachers, exactly who needs to come into my path to help me in the process of transcending all of my family patterns. And to keep in mind that all of these downloads are through all space and time, every little particle of your being. In all languages, all around the world. So yeah, that is all for today regarding that.
Wow, that was so beautiful and amazing set of downloads there. Especially, I love the fact that we get to change ourselves and change others in that way rather than waiting for others to change and hoping and pulling their legs to change, right? And again,
Exactly.
theta healing is amazing at helping us transcend, helping us change, and how our beliefs and our perceptions, when we change our beliefs and perceptions, the world around us change. And for me, when I started off with all of the certifications and doing all of the healing work on myself, until then I had lots of different triggers in my family, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But the more, when I started off learning all of these healing modalities, I was like, how can I use this healing modality to change others, to change my family members, right? So that's where I got started. I was like, I want to change the beliefs of my husband, my mother, and all of that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to change them, kind of an energy there. And almost halfway through it, I got to kind of release all of that. I was like, okay, it is me who needs to change and I don't have to change others. The more I shifted and changed, of course, when I started off, everybody told me this, that when I start changing, automatically things around me will change, which I did not know back then what it meant. But now I can see how much my family has changed. The minute I let out that kind of a trigger in me which wanted to change others, and I don't mind now what my family around me thinks and does. I don't get triggered any longer. I'm like, that's their choice, and it doesn't trigger me any longer because I have changed my beliefs around that. So that's the true transformation of all, I believe, which of course all of these beautiful healing modalities can help us with.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yes, thank you so much with the beautiful downloads. And my dear viewers, we have the link of Paulette posted in the link below, and you can click on the link, and you are interested in doing a theta healing session or any other different type of modalities that she offers, you can click on the link and you can book a session with her. And when you click on the link, actually it takes you to Zero Point Healing website, where you can actually have a chat with her before you book a session. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat with her and have your questions answered. As an additional bonus, you also have a 10% off discount coupon as a gift for watching this video. So the 10% off discount coupon is 0 point. So you can let her know that you found her through this video, and she will give you that gift as well. Any final words, Paulette?
I just want to say that, yeah, what you said was really beautiful about when you change yourself, you change the whole world around you, basically. And I think that's wonderful to realize that we never have to be the victim of anybody or anything that's happening around us, no matter how crazy it might be, no matter how crazy your family might be. We always have the ability to be empowered within ourselves to create the change that we want to. So that's all. Thank you so much. This has been really lovely. Thanks again for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear viewers. I'm going to see you in my next show. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe and please do share this video with as many people as you can, especially if you have family members whom you are being triggered with. Please do share it with them too. So both of you can work together and help transcend your family patterns. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for all the support that you have been giving us. It means a lot to me, and thank you. I'm gonna see you next time. Thank you, Paulette.
Thank you. Bye for now.